Alright guys, welcome back. So NVDA, so today 3% or so, 3.3, and you can see heat map of S&P 500. Today market was not having a good time. In general, it was pretty choppy. If we take a look at the just SPY inside of the range, you can see the mood, and also if you take a look at the volatility, VIX closed 8% higher. So market is a bit nervous. Yes, we have a pretty big data coming out tomorrow. All sorts of headlines. But yesterday, I think somebody insider, they said they still have a lot of demand from tech names out there for their products. So 2 days of a really nice bounce for Nvidia, especially given where it was sitting at its 50-day moving average right here. So at the moment, well, ultra short term, we're bouncing. We are basically outperforming the market maybe in this last few days, or overall market in a choppy sideways move where everything else is down, and Nvidia is trying to catch a bit. And basically, if you take a look at the semiconductor ETF, I mean, thanks to Nvidia, of course, it closed 0.5% up. But on a heat map, yes, AMD green, Broadcom, Micron, Qualcomm slide a bit, and then that's it pretty much. Everything else was slightly negative, and energy, of course. So what I'm watching in terms of the chart for the stock, before we jump into that quickly, again, Nvidia is still one of the best, highest traded volume option, most active option stock. 3.8 million total volume contracts were traded today. Implied volatility, not too crazy. Put to call ratio, 35% of that float puts, 64% calls. Calls could be, there are a lot of premiums being bought at the ask as well, but they're long term, and it could be just trades, because with such volume in and out, it's hard to keep an eye on open interest and to define like if there's a flow coming in or not, like compared to any other smaller cap name where you can clearly read the option market, but not in Nvidia's case. But there's certainly more calls being traded at the moment, and today particularly. And if we take a look at this chart, we have looked at it many times. If you are not new here, that this name is still in this, well, ultra short term. We can take a look at from this high of 140 all the way to here. We have these lower highs, okay? And right now we're testing that line again. Are we going to break out and maybe possibly push towards 130? Because that's next pretty big resistance that I would be watching for Nvidia, and then from there I would be watching 136-ish or so, 135, 136 dollar level as a resistance. If it gets going, of course, in general, tech is going to catch a bid. But if you take a look at the XLK, same situation. Tech is pretty much resting, maybe waiting for Q3 earnings, because quarter officially ended. So we're going to have next week, technically on Friday, banks will start reporting earnings. So maybe a lot of people who are buying calls, they're buying in the hopes of stock basically run up into its earnings report, which is actually, it's not until 11/26, until after election. So Nvidia is pretty far out, actually. I don't believe then in that case all those short-term basically trades that are coming in for this name are covering this earnings report. But maybe a lot of people are thinking that the stock is a lot more safer trade than anything out there, because the strongest stock in S&P 500, top 3 definitely, and in tech, number 1, 148% gain year to date. But for me, yeah, this is the resistance. At the moment, it has to get back above 125. So it needs to build at 25 before trying to push towards 130, because this is very solid resistance right here. You can see a lot of volume traded here, and also that was the earnings report date. So typically Nvidia doesn't run too far away from the earnings report if stock acted negative after that earnings. So it has to prove next earnings come around that it's clear skies that we can push towards new highs. But right here, right now, we're still hovering at $3 trillion market cap. So this is very simple. That's what I'm watching. In terms of to the downside, I will not be watching this name short or to the downside unless it goes below its 50-day moving average or this $114 level. This is where the support I would be watching, nearest support I would be watching for Nvidia. I have my alert at 113. Once it breaches, yeah, it has room to come down all the way to 200 and maybe to test $100 level. But unless it stays, I mean, it can also definitely chop around here and do absolutely nothing until some other chip makers start reporting earnings, and then it will move sympathy to those names, of course. But that's the update for NVDA. We'll also take a look at it weekend, but thanks for watching. See you in the next one.